Hi everyone, hope you are doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, we are all aware that the Supreme Court 7-judge bench have finally retreated to a known location to go and write their ruling, which Kenyans are anticipating for the result on 5th of this month. Of course, it is coming on Monday. And so, as this issue is going on, we are listening to railaodinga lawyers. We got a chance to listen to William Ruto lawyers, the defense team. And if you listen to what the lawyers for Azimio were citing, it was clear they were putting more blame on IEBC involving Smartmatics company staffs. The staff who were involved in the election in Kenya in areas where they were not supposed to be. They talked about the issue of coming with the IEBC material, packaging of IEBC material in their personal belonging, rather than coming in as a consignment. There was no logistic for that. Besides this, they are clear. It is very clear in public domain that names of Smartmatics staff have been found right on the IEBC materials, the transmission of the Form 34A. There are names there. It has been mentioned out. So you'll find it that in this petition, the blame that Azimio have largely is how Smartmatics have involved themselves in this election as far as favoring one of the front-runner candidates. So watu hapa wawili, William Ruto and railaodinga. But before we got to election, the Media Council had tried a lot to reach out to the IEBC chairman, Chebukati, for a one-on-one interview, just for Kenyans to understand the progress he has made and if there are other issues that he need to answer before this election he could have dealt with. The truth of the matter is that Chebukati tried to dodge this interview severally. They had reached out to him severally, but he was declining, just giving a promise that he will get out to them. But on July 13th, Wafula Chebukati finally accepted to meet with the journalists for an interview. So at the time we had an interview in this country, July 13th. At the time Wafula Chebukati sat down with the journalist to answer to some of the serious questions that Kenyans were concerned about. And during that interview, one of the Citizen TV journalists asked questions which then later got to expose some of the worries in IEBC procurement, which will cause this country to go in another election because of nullification. And if not, have illegitimate president. If you listen to how the CEO of IEBC responded to this question, Marijan, you definitely can tell that it is either he did not know the company that he was involving in procurement, Smartmatics, or he was aware on what they're going to do after that procurement. I wanted to listen to that interview. I know all of you had gone through it, but just listen to it shortly. Then after this, we're going to continue with this conversation to understand where the rain started beating us.
Allow me then to go to the Chief Executive Officer, because this area needs a lot of clarity about the Chief Executive Officer. And I ask you again, what level of due diligence did you do on Smartmatic International Corporation?
First of all, I want to agree with the chairman that one is the procurement process was actually done above board. It was actually an open tender.
Okay.
And there is a committee that was actually appointed by myself as the accounting officer to do the evaluation of this tender. They are the same committee that are also responsible for doing due diligence. So before even award, there was actually due diligence that was actually done, and this actually involved going to places where actually they did election before,
okay,
and to interview those specific countries where actually it happened,
okay,
and also going to the specific areas where this farm exists.
Okay.
So those are two things that were actually done, and they produce a report in terms of what actually they observed.
One final question,
yes.
Chief Executive Officer. Then during your meetings, you talked about the procurement process in awarding the company, in procuring its services. Did you know that the cybercrime investigation and the coordinating center, CICC, in the Philippines after the 2016 elections called on its mathematics? It compromised the elections which led to the election of President Rodrigo Duterte. Did you know that in Uganda, the biometric voter kits failed, forcing the election officials to revert to the manual voter system? Did you know that in Venezuela, in Latin America in 2017, Smartmatic on its own acknowledged that the turnout voter figures were manipulated by at least 1 million voters? Did you establish this before you awarded the contract?
No, because I rely on the evaluation committee after they do the due diligence and they provide me with the report. That is what I rely on. And therefore, these other news about that you are providing now are things that I was not even aware about.
So the report you awarded never cited these issues?
These issues were never cited.
But this is a company that is seriously indicted by a cybercrime agency of a country.
This, I think, it would require the company to respond, because I don't have a...
But you're already in agreement with them?
Yes, it's because this information did not even come to our attention. You are actually saying that, and it's not even confirmed. This probably will be based on information that you've been able to search, maybe from the internet and the rest. And I think it would be proper at this particular time if this question can be actually directed to the respective company for them. No. I cannot speak on their behalf.
Let me just finish up before Kamche comes in. One final question then, Chief Executive Officer. The chairperson earlier on talked about preparation process when I queried about how the agency ought to be a unit going forward. And we know all the disenfranchisement after the 2017 elections. You had 5 years before you procured this company. You never did due diligence. I mean, elections in Kenya have high stakes, and we're heading into a consequential elections that will determine the next president of this country and across all the elective positions. I mean, this is, in the understanding of many Kenyans, you not doing your job.
Now, there's a question we are asking on this Punchline, and I've posted that question on the community button of this channel. That should the Supreme Court nullify the 2022 general election, presidential election, or upheld it? I know there are people who are already voting on that question, so just get there and vote, and again you can drop your comment, which can be of help in our next analysis. So get to the community button of this channel and answer that question. Again, there is a number I gave before, my WhatsApp number, but there's a new number I'm using as of now, ile iko na shida fulani. So if you want to reach out to me, forget the other number. The number you can reach out to me is 0795 95 80 63. That's the current number. You can reach out to me quickly. With the other one, there's a lot of delay. So reach out to me on that number. Now, we are continuing with the panel discussion, but just a quick request. You might be watching this channel, but you're not yet subscribed. So my humble request, please consider subscribing so that another time, once we release a video like this one, you will always get notified. Again, to all our channel subscribers and anyone who drop comment, I must say thank you so much for your unconditional support. Again, I'm requesting you to give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube can recommend our videos to more viewers. Back to our discussion. Now, if you read the body language of both Wafula Chebukati, the IEBC chairman, and his CEO, Hussein Marijan, how they're responding to the journalist question, you can easily conclude and say that it is either Wafula Chebukati and Hussein Marijan are either incompetent, or if not, then you can easily say that these are smooth criminals. They are aware of what they are doing, and they know the outcome of what they are doing. So it is something they either plan or they go to it as incompetent people who want to serve Kenyans at high office. Because as you have heard, this company has had issues in Philippines. This company has had issues in Uganda presidential election. The same company has issues in US Smartmatics. Because in 2017 August, Smartmatics CEO admitted that there were electronic system that manipulated Venezuela election, even in their own country, to a tune of 1 million votes. So you can imagine. But still without due diligence, without checking on which company you are giving this tender, you simply just move on like that. Like, how are they vetted? Did you check on their history? What they have been able to do? Their success and failures. So that now when you are giving that contract, even in the public court, with the public opinion, anyone can trust this company to offer their services. But if you see the list of countries that they have had to provide their services in presidential election and even general election, you see a lot of problem. You can see the red card. The red alert was there. It was telling. And I have been sharing here the materials from Philippines on how their election was conducted. And you can easily tell. So I don't know where Chebukati was, where Hussein Marijan's mind was. And that's why you see Kenyans were easy to suggest that William Samoei Ruto, to some extent, met mathematics staff in Uganda. You remember, sometime when I was getting to Uganda, the other time when they blocked him, and the other guys who came to this country, later they were deported. So those links, because the same company had the activity in Uganda. Because you see, in Uganda, Smartmatics actually failed, and the country had to revert back to manual register. But why were they running away from manual register or manual voting? It was because of fear of rigging. So you revert to what they know in rigging. So either way, that will work in the interest of the person they want to aid in that election. So after all this thing, you move on to 2022 in Kenya with all this history of failure, irregularities, transmission of result, and all those things. Then you give them a contract in this country. So that's the kind of situation. Now, in as much the judges have retreated to write their ruling, these are the 9 issues for determination in the presidential petition that they are focusing on. Because today, yesterday, and tomorrow, they will be doing that. And Kesho is clear ruling. Number 1, whether the technology deployed by IEBC met the standard of integrity, verifiability, transparency to guarantee credibility of results. Wataangalia hiyo. Number 2, whether there were interference of Form 34S from the polling station to the IEBC portal. Number 3, whether there were difference between Form 34A on the portal from Form 34A on the National Tallying Center and the Form 34A with the agent at the polling station. Number 4, whether the postponement of gubernatorial, parliamentary, and the MC election result into voter suppress in the at the detriment of Azimio. Number 5, whether there were unexplained discrepancy between voter caste and the presidential candidates and the other elective posts. Number 6, whether IEBC carried out its mandate in accordance with the 138C and the 13810. We continue hiyo number 6, twende number 7. Sababu hizo ndio vitu wanataka waangalie. Whether the presidential election got, whether the president elect got 50+1. Hapa sasa ndio Okiya Omtata anaingilia. Number 8, whether there were irregularities and illegalities of such magnitude to affect result outcome. Mmeona mambo ya mathematics yenye imefanya huko. And number 9, which is the last one, what reliefs or order can the court grant or issue? And that is the question the court is going to answer after all this. Sisi kazi yetu ni kungojea tuone vile itakuwa, lakini from the word go you can tell there was already a predetermined result or figure that Wafula Chebukati and some of the IEBC people were working towards as far as presidential election is concerned. See you in our next video.